Every few years, a new name shakes up the basketball world, and right now, that name is VJ Edgecombe. His explosiveness, the way he attacks the rim like it insulted his family, it's hard not to get hooked. But in an era where almost every high school player is labeled the next big thing, how real is the hype around VJ Edgecombe? Because here's the thing, we've seen this movie before. A highlight reel drops, Twitter goes wild, scouts start drooling, and suddenly everyone's screaming, future NBA star. But when the lights dim and the cameras stop rolling, only a few can actually back it up. So, how good is VJ Edgecombe? Really? Is he the next elite two-way phenom ready to take over the NBA? Or just another viral sensation who'll fade once the hype dies down? Let's get into it. VJ Edgecombe's story doesn't start in some fancy AAU gym with camera crews and scouts drooling on the sidelines. It starts on Bimini, a tiny island in the Bahamas with fewer people than a packed NBA arena. Forget hardwood floors and shiny backboards, and this dude was hooping on cracked concrete with rusty rims and maybe a coconut as a backup basketball. Before basketball, Edgecombe was running track and kicking soccer balls, and basically doing everything except hooping. But once he picked up a basketball, it was game over. Born on July 30th, 2005, Edgecombe didn't grow up surrounded by five-star training facilities or elite programs. He grew up where electricity was a luxury and sometimes the family's arena lighting came from a generator. If the lights went out mid-dribble, you either called it night practice or prayed the moonlight was bright enough to finish your layups. And yet, that's what makes his rise even crazier. The man literally built his career off sweat, grit, and maybe a few mosquito bites. While other kids had trainers and shooting machines, Edgecombe had cracked courts and duct-taped basketballs. The man didn't just learn to play, he survived basketball. His idol was Buddy Hield, the other Bahamian baller who made it to the NBA. Seeing Buddy succeed made Edgecombe realize that island boys could make it to the big stage too. By the time he was a teenager, coaches were already raising eyebrows. His first step was so quick, defenders probably thought he teleported. Add that to his freakish athleticism, and you had a kid who looked like he was created in a sports lab. Only this lab had no AC and had a chicken coop nearby. But talent can only take you so far when your local competition includes wild iguanas and fishermen. If Edgecombe wanted to go pro, he had to leave the island. So in ninth grade, he packed up, moved to Florida, and attended Victory International Institute, which sounds like a superhero academy but was really his first stop on the US basketball map. Eventually, he transferred to Long Island Lutheran in New York, where he stopped being just that Bahamian kid who can jump, and became a full-blown national prospect. By the time VJ Edgecombe walked into Long Island Lutheran High School, it was clear this kid wasn't your average hoop dreamer. He was the real deal. Sure, he was still rough around the edges. His jumper wasn't always pretty, and sometimes his decision-making looked like it came from a magic 8-ball. But you couldn't ignore the talent. Coaches saw that first step and immediately started drooling like they'd just spotted a 5-star meal on a 2-star budget. It didn't take long for word to spread. By his junior year, he was stuffing stat sheets, 17.3 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 2.5 assists per game, and locking dudes up on defense like he was trying to win Defensive Player of the Year in high school. If you were a guard facing him, good luck. You'd probably need a map, a flashlight, and divine intervention just to find a clean look at the rim. Then came the EYBL circuit, where Edgecombe proved he wasn't just an island highlight, he was the whole damn storm. Scouts loved his energy, his motor, and the fact that he didn't seem to take plays off. Some even called him the most consistent player in his class, which is basketball talk for this guy actually tries on defense. By his senior year, Edgecombe officially went Super Saiyan. He averaged over 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, led Long Island Lutheran through a brutal national schedule, and earned himself a McDonald's All-American spot. He even snagged the Gatorade Player of the Year for New York. When it came time to pick a college, the offers were flying in. Duke, St. John's, Alabama. Basically, every top program wanted a piece. But VJ ultimately chose Baylor. The program's success with guards, emphasis on player development, and defensive mindset made it the perfect fit. And credit where it's due, the move worked. From the second he stepped onto the court at Baylor, Edgecombe looked like he belonged. The athleticism, still freakish. The energy, off the charts. You could just tell this guy wasn't playing college ball to find himself. He came to show everyone that the kid from a 2-stoplight island could hang with the best of them. If you blinked, you probably missed him flying past someone for a dunk. And if you tried to guard him, well, you might still be looking for your ankles. When VJ Edgecombe committed to Baylor for the 2024-25 season, the hype was through the roof, and so were the expectations. I mean, the guy was a five-star recruit, the top shooting guard in the country, and had every college fan base acting like he was the second coming of Michael Jordan. But the Big 12 isn't exactly the place to show off your mixtape handles and go viral. It's where dreams meet defense and freshmen get humbled real quick. So naturally everyone wondered, would VJ Edgecombe's high school heroics actually hold up in college? Spoiler alert, they did. From the jump, Edgecombe didn't just fit in, he acted like he owned the place. Coach Scott Drew trusted him almost immediately, and he wasted zero time proving he wasn't just another overhyped recruit with a fancy haircut and a God's plan caption on Instagram. He was a legit two-way threat, the kind of player who'd dunk on you and then steal your lunch money on defense. Across 33 games, he averaged 15 points, 5.6 rebounds, 3.2 assists, and 2.1 steals per game. Not bad for a freshman. He shot 43.6% from the field, 34% from deep, and 78% from the line. But here's where it gets real. The dude was consistent, like annoyingly consistent for someone his age. You could always count on him to bring energy, effort, and at least one, did he really just do that, moment per game. And the awards came rolling in. Big 12 Freshman of the Year, All Big 12 Second Team, and Big 12 All Freshman Team. Not bad for a guy who was probably still figuring out how to do his own laundry. Defensively, Edgecombe was a menace. Coaches regularly threw him at the other team's best scorer, and he loved it. He played defense like it was personal, swiping passes, harassing ball handlers, and making opponents look like they'd rather just hand him the ball and go home. Averaging over 2 steals per game, he frequently turned defense into instant offense, finishing with highlight dunks in transition. On offense, it took a minute for him to find his groove. Early in the season, he mostly lived off transition dunks and cutting to the rim, basically doing cardio at an elite level. But once he found his rhythm, he started adding layers to his game. A pull-up jumper here, a slick crossover there, and a few step backs that made defenders wish they'd stayed in the zone. But by mid-season, his game had expanded. He added a reliable pull-up jumper, sharper ball handling, and the ability to create shots off the dribble. Still, his best basketball came when it mattered most, in the postseason. In the first round of the Big 12 tournament against Kansas State, VJ Edgecombe decided it was time to remind everyone why he was a 5-star recruit. Dude went full superhero mode, 19 points, 10 rebounds, and basically turned the court into his personal highlight reel. Baylor cruised to a 70-56 win, and VJ looked like the guy every coach brags about recruiting. Then came the quarterfinals against Texas Tech, a tight 2-point loss that probably broke Baylor fans' hearts. But even in defeat, Edgecombe still looked like the only guy on the court who knew what he was doing. He dropped 11 points, snagged 7 boards, dished out 5 assists, and played like the calmest freshman in the building. He was out there running the offense like he had tenure. Baylor rolled into the NCAA tournament as the number 9 seed in the East region, and from the jump, you could tell this wasn't going to be an easy ride. First up, Mississippi State. And once again, Edgecombe showed up when it mattered. He put up 14 points and hit 2 clutch free throws in the final seconds. Because apparently pressure doesn't exist for this kid. Most freshmen would be sweating bricks at the line, but VJ looked like he was shooting free throws at practice with AirPods in. Then came the showdown with top-seeded Duke, led by Cooper Flagg. The challenge was massive, and while Baylor ultimately fell 89-66, Edgecombe still battled hard, finishing with 16 points and 6 rebounds while refusing to back down against elite competition. By the end of the season, it was crystal clear. VJ Edgecombe wasn't just an athlete with a nice mixtape. He was that guy. The energy, the defense, the composure, it all screamed lottery pick in progress. Baylor didn't just polish his skills, they humbled him too. He learned how to play under structure, how to slow down the game, and how not to try to dunk on everyone in sight. He came in as a raw high school superstar and walked out as one of the most complete wings in college basketball. With his athleticism, defensive intensity, and quickly developing skill set, VJ Edgecombe established himself as one of the most promising wing prospects heading into the 2025 NBA draft. When the 2025 NBA draft came around, the suspense was over. Everyone knew VJ Edgecombe was going early. The kid was a walking highlight reel with turbo jets for legs and a defensive motor that just didn't quit. So when the Philadelphia 76ers called his name with the 3rd overall pick, it wasn't just a big moment, it was historic. the highest draft pick in Baylor's history, and the Bahamas officially added another star next to their beaches and conch fritters. Think about it. A kid who grew up dribbling on cracked concrete in Bimini, where a gym was basically any patch of flat ground without a coconut tree, just walked across the NBA draft stage in a designer suit. That's not just a glow-up, that's a historic achievement. But then came the real question. Could he actually ball out in the NBA, or would he end up being another one-season mixtape legend that Hoop Twitter forgets about in 6 months? Spoiler alert, he came in swinging. In his NBA debut against the Boston Celtics, VJ Edgecombe went completely nuclear. 34 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and more confidence than a kid on TikTok with 1 viral video. He didn't just play well, he broke Allen Iverson's rookie debut scoring record for the 76ers. He also dropped 14 points in the first quarter, snapping LeBron James' record for most points in a debut quarter. Philadelphia fans didn't just cheer that night. They believed they'd just witnessed the birth of their next superstar. But with that kind of entrance, the expectations immediately skyrocketed. The Sixers weren't looking at VJ Edgecombe like some regular rookie. They were looking at him like the chosen one. Philly fans had barely finished Googling how to pronounce Bimini before they started calling him the next Anthony Edwards. His bounce, his defense, his confidence, everything screamed superstar. But hey, one great debut doesn't mean you're him. Ask anyone who's ever dropped 30 once and then vanished faster than a Snapchat streak. Still, Edgecombe wasn't just a one-night wonder. The man kept cooking. Through his first 3 games, Edgecombe averaged 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. A stat line so clean it makes rookies from the past decade look like they were playing intramurals. No rookie guard has ever done that before. What's crazier is how calm he looks doing it. Most rookies in their first few games are out there looking like they just opened a new 2K controller and haven't figured out the buttons yet. But Edgecombe? Dude's moving like he's been in Philly for 5 years. He cuts at the perfect time, runs the break like he's late for a flight, and already knows where to be when Embiid gets double-teamed. And it's not just the offense, the defense is legit. It's rare to see a 19-year-old look this composed on both ends. The poise, the body language, it's like he skipped the awkward rookie phase entirely. And for a Sixers team that's been searching for anyone, to take the pressure off Joel Embiid, they might have finally found their guy. Not a temporary spark, not another false messiah, but a real franchise-changing player. Philly's been waiting for a savior, and this one doesn't cry about referees, flop for calls, or vanish in the playoffs. Looking back at draft night, everyone knew this pick would either save the Sixers or bury them deeper. The franchise was coming off one of those seasons that felt less like basketball and more like a group therapy session. They had signed Paul George, and a move that sounded great on paper, until George started playing like that paper had water damage. And of course, they extended Joel Embiid, which made sense sentimentally, but also made Sixers fans collectively hold their breath every time he took a step too hard. The season went about as well as a TikTok cooking hack. Messy, disappointing, and somehow burnt at both ends. George spent more time in street clothes than on the court, and when he did play, he looked like he was still buffering. Embiid missed time again, and even when he returned, he looked like a man who just realized he left the oven on. By the All-Star break, the Sixers weren't just bad, they were existentially bad. By the time the 2025 draft rolled around, Philly fans weren't praying for a playoff push. They were praying for a miracle. And somehow, the lottery gods finally answered. The Sixers landed the 3rd overall pick, a pick they had no business keeping thanks to years of chaotic trades. And with that pick, they grabbed VJ Edgecombe, the Bahamian blur with hops, hustle, and enough confidence to make a Philly cheesesteak blush. Now, pairing him with Tyrese Maxey? That's a highlight reel waiting to happen. 2 lightning-fast guards in one backcourt. It's like watching 2 Teslas race down Broad Street with no traffic lights. Analysts are already calling them the future of the franchise, but let's be honest, Sixers fans have heard that line more times than Embiid's "I'll be back stronger" speeches. The question now is, how good can VJ Edgecombe actually become? When you watch him play, it's hard not to start seeing shades of the league's elite two-way wings. The first name that pops up? Jaylen Brown. Not because their games are identical, but because both look like they were built in a lab for pure basketball destruction. Like Brown, Edgecombe is an athletic freak. Explosive off the dribble, dangerous in transition, and capable of turning a lazy pass into a fast break dunk before you even finish your snack. And then there's that touch of Anthony Edwards energy. The same fearlessness, the same I don't care who's in front of me, I'm going straight through you attitude. Edgecombe doesn't just play the game, he hunts. What gives him a real edge, though, is his defensive ceiling. Edgecombe has the length, lateral quickness, and discipline to become one of the league's top perimeter defenders. He reminds scouts of OG Anunoby in that sense, a guy who can guard 1 through 4 and make life miserable for elite scorers. And that's what makes his potential so exciting. He's not just an athlete who can score, he's a complete package in the making, the kind of player who can drop 20 on you while shutting down your best guard on the other end. It's rare to see someone this young with the physical tools, the mindset, and the maturity to handle the NBA grind. If he keeps this up, the league better start taking notes, because VJ Edgecombe might just be the next name everyone's arguing about on NBA Twitter. VJ Edgecombe isn't just another exciting rookie putting up flashy numbers. Through just a handful of games, he's already shown things that most rookies take years to figure out: confidence, control, defensive intensity, and a clear understanding of how to impact winning. So when people ask, how good is VJ Edgecombe actually? The answer is simple. He's really good, and still getting better by the game. If he keeps improving at this pace, Sixers fans might finally have something new to cheer about besides trust the process. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one.